Well, I'm just happier than a pig in mud. I'm excited. I'm overwhelmed. Here I am. Here you are.
Yeah. I mean, we're not in the same room, but we're here respectively, like where you are and where I am.
Sure. So I guess to pull the curtain back a little bit, it's only been the show took a 1 week break.
Yes.
Which the show returned from last week. With kind of like a quasi episode. It was kind of like a spot filler. I mean, it's still episode 151.
Yep.
But you weren't there.
No.
So it kind of feels like just a slight step up from the 1917 episode, which was just you.
Right.
So at least I had like a co-host, but it just wasn't,
Yeah.
It's us, man.
I'll digest what, pardon me, I'll translate what you said. It was a solid episode. It sounded like you guys had fun seeing a movie in the theaters, which is great. And I agree,
goodness,
it wasn't you and I miss you as well.
Yeah. See, there we go. Now look, so the show only took a 1 week break, but we actually haven't talked to each other in like 3 weeks. I mean, we've communed a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We haven't
like my lawyer sent you that letter and like communicated to you, but we've
Yeah. We've talked through attorneys, but it's been like 3 weeks.
I'm just doing a count. I think it might be. Yeah. Okay. It just feels like longer, but I think it's like three
and a half.
3.5. Yeah. But regardless, it's been a few weeks.
And it's time. Why has it been 3 weeks, sir?
Well, and not just I, my family has welcomed a second child into our family. So it's been twice.
It's fantastic because the kid had only been knocking on your back door for about 8 weeks saying, please, sir, feed me. And you were like, I don't know who you are. And then finally you're like, okay.
Come on in. You have a British accent. Come on in.
How dangerous can you be? Come on.
There are no criminals in England, I'm sure.
No.
But yeah.
No. So yeah, you guys, you had you're a dad again.
Yes. Twice the chaos, half the sleep, as they say.
That's so exciting. I still only I need to put more stuff on this thing because I still only like the only response I can give.
Oh no! Don't
to
do
you
it.
Being a father again is, which is not. It's not really. It doesn't fully capture what I'm feeling.
I don't know if it captures it at all.
No,
it's the people.
That's fine.
It's the listener who's heard the episode 150 can attest that sound bite was used sometimes on key, like when it was funny, and then other times it was like we needed a sound and that's all we had. So, hey, there it was.
I think the word gratuitous comes to mind.
Right.
But hey, listen. Okay, so not only are we back, but so is our vote-oriented episodes.
Yes. Our
second visit to 1999.
Yes, the first one where we did The Matrix. The Matrix came out on top. This was the second vote where we gave some stellar options from 1999. And like we've talked about in episodes past, some of these years we're getting into now are just so loaded that heck, we can't listen to all eight or watch all and review all 8 films, but it feels like with the need we have to double up some votes just because there's so many what we consider stellar options.
Yeah. I have a question.
I might have an answer.
Do you think the reason why there were so many great films in 2019, not 2019, why did I say 2019? 1999. Do you think the reason there were so many great films in 1999 is because of the Y2K? Is because of computer failing paranoia, and everyone was like, well, this is it. Better, if we're going to put out a great film, this is the moment.
It's
because after this, we're all going to be cavemen and stone people and stuff.
It's now or never.
Yeah. Excuse me. So listen. I want to say we had. So there were 4 options. There was the Iron Giant. There was Galaxy Quest.
Yep.
There was something else.
Bicentennial Man was for sure.
Bicentennial Man, which I was really rooting for because that is it's an amazing film that not enough people have seen or are aware of. It's like a life-changing movie. I didn't expect it to win.
That is, I have not seen it, so I fall into that camp. But that is a pretty bold statement that from gauging your voice
and
tone,
I stand by it.
Yeah, you're not like that's not just a joke or a whim. Like I'm genuinely intrigued.
Yeah. Like and super up your alley. Like you and the missus should sit down. I think you would both thoroughly enjoy it.
Wow. Okay.
Thoroughly.
Okay.
And then what was the other one?
Oh.
It was one of your options.
Yeah.
You put forth.
Was it?
Did it have Richard Gere in it?
Oh, was it might have been Runaway Bride.
Might have been.
Either
way, whatever it was, how did that one perform?
Not so hot.
Yeah. No, I didn't get a single vote.
I don't think so.
No. But Galaxy Quest did, and I am perplexed.
Okay. Can I hold the phone? I am confirming.
Yeah.
I think it was Runaway Bride because it was from 1999. I will not say that it's change your life worthy as Bicentennial Man, but I will say I had heard of it a lot throughout my life. It's just kind of like a cult classic film. Has Julia Roberts in it, and I watched it and I was not disappointed. That's all.
It is an excellent film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. That's
it's
all
excellent.
I had to say.
Yeah. So Galaxy Quest won, and I'm shocked. Because I did not think when the vote went up, I thought to myself, I can go ahead right now and make the thumbnail for the episode, and I can slap the Iron Giant logo on there.
Really?
And we're just and I don't know, because listen, Iron Giant is anyone I talk to about the film The Iron Giant. Like, talk about it like it's the holy grail of 90s animated films. It's like this huge cult following. Everyone, oh God, The Iron Giant. It's so... I saw it in the theater. It was one of the few movies that, like, as a kid, I went to go see. It was either in the theater or the drive-in or something, but I saw it, like, when it came out. And whenever I tell people like that, they're like, holy cow, you're one of the lucky few. Because I guess, like, nobody went to go see it.
Really?
But then it just blew up afterwards. So I thought for sure that it was a total shoo-in. And it wasn't. And Galaxy Quest won.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited to talk about because I feel like it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Not just like you sit down and you watch it and you go, oh, that was weird. But like... But just as a film that exists, it's odd because it feels like a quasi low budget film.
In some ways.
In some ways, it feels like a lower budget film that has no real, like, it doesn't feel like, it almost feels like something that could have been like a direct to video. Like maybe it didn't go to the theaters type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like some crap that Netflix would put out now as a Netflix original.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when Adam Sandler struck that deal and he did like the Ridiculous Six or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it feels like that. But it has Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman
Yeah.
and Sam Rockwell
Ooh.
and Tim Allen and the list just goes on. And
does.
it's like,
Yeah.
this is this film in cast alone
Yeah.
must have cost a fortune.
Well, and here's where I'll
And
step
so
in.
it's just odd.
And the one thing I'll step in and argue with you, or not even argue, just like help redefine how you're labeling this movie. It's not even that I'd label it a low budget film, which, because I agree with everything you just said. I would say it's more so a film that blew up its casting budget. Like, didn't even like just go over a little bit. Like, they just blew the doors off.
Sure.
And then they said, crap, we don't really have money to hire like a screenwriter and like, you know, like everything else that you would need to round out a movie. It's like, it's all cast and the rest is like B grade.
Like there's no, it's not, there's no like big, it's not a great story. I mean, it's a great premise. It's a great synopsis.
Yeah.
But it lacks heart-filled moments, really. It lacks character development. Like, and it lacks character growth. Like, Tim Allen's character starts the film out as a self-obsessed dick and ends the film, he gets lucky, but he doesn't have this like, oh, I've been a self-obsessed dick moment. Literally, his redemption, you can't even call it that, is just that his show gets picked up again so he can go back to being a movie star. Like, he doesn't actually grow. He doesn't improve any. None of them do. None of them start out in one place and then come out of it on the other side going, oh, like, honestly, the person who has the most growth, the coming of age story in this film is the friggin' alien commander who's like, turns out to be the one, you know. So, I mean, Tim Allen learns a lesson about not lying. There's a moment where he's forced to come clean about the fact that he's not actually a commander. But he's kind of forced into that. And so I don't know that it's actually even a growth moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a large measurable growth of like, here is A at the beginning of the film, then here is B at the end of the film, and we see some rounded out or some lessons learned. I would say for all the peripheral characters, like, and that I'm including like Sigourney Weaver and like all of the side characters, I don't think there was a huge change. I think just overall, and mostly with Tim Allen, but overall, there was just a general grounding out that they went on this journey and they were kind of humbled by, first it was just how much these other species appreciated them, and there was a bit of embarrassment because they were, like you alluded to, these other species didn't realize that they were fakes, they were phonies. So I think it started off with an embarrassment, but also kind of like a pride thing that they were like, hey, at least someone likes us. But then I think there was a bit of a rounding up by the end of the film that they said, okay, like they grew as human beings to care for these people and put themselves on the line. And so I would say there's some growth, there's some change as characters. And specifically for Tim Allen, like there's that scene at the beginning where he's in the bathroom where just random fans are just ripping on him and making a mockery of like his career and what he does, and just absolutely they just annihilate him without him knowing that he can hear them.
That he's a has-been.
And the one thing I'll say is, like, I feel like that's usually in most films like a second or third act thing where that realization comes in, and I thought it was refreshing and kind of unique that this happened like literally 10 minutes into the film. Like the opening credits had barely just finished going off screen.
He has ironically, because it's the same actor, but he has a Buzz Lightyear realizing he is just an action figure moment.
Yeah. And so there was something about that where I thought that was refreshing from a storytelling perspective to get that out of the way earlier on versus having to watch someone be a jerk for an hour before they kind of learned. And so I guess rounding that back to the character development, it was refreshing to see that happen like almost immediately, so then he could kind of start his journey kind of gradually and slowly. But then I felt that by the end, I agree there wasn't like a mountain of change with him and then his
Sure.
assistants, but I would say there's some where at least they had some empathy for someone else and put their kind of egos aside and said there's a bigger picture here. And there was a bit of a redemption for leaning on fans that they poo-pooed earlier and just kind of there was some small incremental growth.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and is that a young? Am I completely out to lunch, or is that a young Justin Long?
So you're not out to lunch, and I don't have any trivia this week, but I do have, like, in the form of a question. But I've got trivia in.
Okay.
Hey, here you go. So this actually ties in quite right. So you're right. This is a young Justin Long who made his debut cinematic appearance, but also
Aside from being, sorry, go
no,
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, aside from being a chipmunk, whatever happened to him?
Yeah, comparatively, like, he's a well-known Hollywood face, and I'm not poo-pooing his career by any means, but there's not a lot of alignment with films that he's been in and films that I appreciate or know that well.
Oh, yeah, he did a couple of crummy comedies.
Yeah, he was a
And-
pivotal character in the one of those rom-coms that had 20 people in it. I think it's She's Not That Into You, where,
Yeah,
he plays someone.
yeah. And then so he did that, and then he was the Mac in the Mac and PC commercials. He was like
That
the
might-
cool.
Honestly, and this, again, I'm not
Sexy
slighting
douchebag
him.
guy.
Like, he's made it leaps and bounds ahead of anywhere I'll ever touch as far as Hollywood cinematic careers. But I think that might be like the height, just because it was such a
Oh, he's got-
profound. Like,
yeah,
it was
that's all of his notoriety.
yeah, like, that was a very cool ad.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he played I think he plays Alvin
Oh,
in the live action Alvin and the Chipmunk films.
I see.
Which, again, it's kind of like, but they've done so much to your voice. Like, had I never told you that, you'd never know it. So I'm like, is that an acting gig?
Yeah.
But anyways,
And also, I don't know if you caught this. You're not an Office fan per se, but Rainn Wilson made his cinematic debut in this film. Also, he was one of the.
Rainn Wilson.
He plays Dwight in The Office.
Okay.
He was one of the other
is
creatures.
he one of the aliens?
Yeah, he was on the ship a few times, but he was the main spot I saw him. He was at Tim Allen's like pool deck area at the beginning when they were like picking him up that morning, where he was like hungover.
Okay.
So
I kind of want to go back and look now and see, because he's got a relatively recognizable facial structure.
oh
like
yeah,
cheekbone kind of thing. So yeah, I'd be interested to go back and check that.
I'm just stumbling on a note. I want to jump back one more thing about the character development.
Yeah.
And I don't fundamentally
Me too.
disagree with what you said, because I would say it is what it is. But I would say one of the peripheral characters that had a journey was Alan Rickman's character.
Oh yeah.
Because
We
have him deliver this line that eats away at his soul every single time he delivers it. He's the definition of an actor. Like, he believes in his craft, in his art, and he kind of feels sick, or at least embarrassed, to have been kind of sold out to be in this what he views as this inferior cash cow of a TV show that he doesn't really see much merit in as far as artistic
He
endeavor.
played King Richard, damn it.
Yeah. And
Like 6 times or something.
right. And the whole film with fans and initially with the other creatures, they have him deliver this line, and every time, like, his eyes are at the back of his head rolling back, and he just, again, like, it just erodes part of his soul every time he says it. But at the end, near the end of the film, one of the others who looks up to him is dying. Like, he has moments to live. And I forget if he either requests him or if Alan Rickman does it on his own accord. But he recites.
He does it on his own.
He does it on his own. Okay. He recites those lines just to bring kind of some closure and some, like, just some connection with that poor creature who's about to die. And he means it. Like, he heartfeltly believes what he's saying this time. And I thought that was from a storytelling perspective, kind of a fun transition from beginning to end. But just for the context of character development, I feel like that was like one example of some depth.
Well, because the guy, and in that scene, the guy that's dying thinks, like, still believes that Alan Rickman is this character.
Right.
Doesn't know that he's an actor.
Right.
So,
yep.
yeah, but aside from that, it feels like the main character, the character that is supposed to have this huge story arc, at least the way I view it, goes from being a has-been to getting himself and all of his friggin' friends, not even his friends, they don't like him, but like his co-workers, getting them into a life or death situation, playing a little loose and wild with the lives of this other, like sees it as just this gimmicky thing, and then maybe kind of comes to understand the gravitas of the situation, but ultimately goes from being a has-been to an is again, and it just that whole thing, I was like, why? Because what? Because they crashed through Comic-Con with a ship? Because they did millions in damage to this conference center? Like, what caused the show? Because it's not just them all getting along again. That's not why shows are canceled. It wasn't like, oh, the cast members stopped getting along and that's why there was only 3 seasons or whatever the hell it was of this show. It's like, there needs to be, and it's weird. It's like, it seemed like there was an interest because there's all this Comic-Con stuff, but maybe not enough. Like, what about it made the studio go, yes, this is a valuable IP that we want to bring back. Like, that just felt like it felt like a happy ending with no connective tissue whatsoever.
Yeah, perhaps. That's fair.
But
yeah.
Premise. So I love, as I said before, it's a, as far as I'm aware, it's a pretty original idea. That you have this TV show that has been picked up in outer space by this race of people who don't get that they don't understand, they don't know the concept of fiction. Right? Fiction is not a thing to them. So anything they pick up on their broadcast thing is historical records, historical documents. And they make reference to Gilligan's Island in this like really funny. There's so many like actually make you laugh out loud moments in this movie. There are a lot of really funny moments. Yeah. And most of them come from the alien race. I can't think of a funnier, hard to keep, like, you watch movies. I've been picking up on this more and more. I've been watching I've been picking up on it in a show that I'm watching too. But I picked up on it in this movie. So many moments where I think to myself, my God, what take was this? Because I feel like for the first 15 takes, every time this line was delivered or this motion happened, everybody lost it. There's no way. There's no way that even the most professional of actor was able to just completely stay straight-laced through this whole thing. And to me, that's the alien race all throughout this. Right. Whether it's just like the different modulation in their voice, where they're like, we need your help, or like any of that stuff. It's just so, it's like, it's just such a great acting gig. Because it's like, we really need you to just, there's no other acting gig. There's no other acting gig where you get to be in this big Hollywood movie and act like that. Where you get to be over the top and ridiculous to that extent. Right. And so I look at it and I go, man, those guys, and just the one female. There's just one female. Yeah. The rest are men, I think. Yep. They must have had a riot. Like, it must have been, every day on set must have been just the most stupid, ridiculous fun that any of them have ever had.
You wonder.
Yeah.
Something interesting I read, and So you were talking about seeing Iron Giant as a kid. Did you see this as a kid, or did you just see it more recently in like adulthood?
No, you know what? I discovered it maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Like I was a teenager.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was on TV at some point. It was either on TV or it was on Netflix.
Yep.
Back in there was no Netflix. There was, but Netflix was like a DVD rental service.
And like you would get one disc and then return it and get it.
You get the disc in the mail and but I just so it must have been on TV. I think we had like a digital cable box, and so it was kind of like having cable, but you also but it was satellite kind of.
Yep.
And so you'd have like the menus and the movie channels and stuff like that. So it must have been, I think it was on TV, and I think the fact that I was as old as I was when I discovered this film is partially what builds into my preconceived notion that this is more of a niche cult classic film that not a lot of people, just because I was like, oh, how did I reach 15 or whatever I was, 16, and have never heard of this.
Right.
Because it's Tim Allen. And I feel like between, as a kid of the 90s, I feel like between Toy Story and the Santa Claus and our parents watching shows like Home Improvement.
Yes.
I feel like, there's nothing really in this film that, that 10-year-old me couldn't have been exposed to. And so, yeah, I think I was surprised that I reached the age that I was and was only just discovering it. And so then I thought to myself, oh, well, there's like no one in this movie then. And I think I was probably too young. I was maybe like 14. So I definitely knew Tim Allen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I recognized, at the time, I would have recognized Alan Rickman as Snape.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I might have I might have picked up on Sigourney Weaver from Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
But I was definitely too young. Like, there was no way I could appreciate who Sam Rockwell was.
Oh, no.
I didn't have any, and I think my guess would be like in 1999, I don't know that Sam Rockwell, like, I don't know that he's that big of a name at this point. Maybe he is.
Even, I'd have to look at his IMDb. I'd hazard a guess that even when you first saw this 10, 15 years ago, he may not have even been as big of a deal.
He really wasn't even that big then.
I feel like most of his works are like more in the recent years that are like of noteworthy.
Sure. Yeah, like the Poltergeist remake and Jojo Rabbit and Iron Man 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, I saw it late in life. I didn't see it as a kid. I didn't grow up with this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe incorrectly, as our audience has shown us with their vote, my impression was that it was not like bad, unpopular, but just like not a super well-known popular movie. But maybe that's a false perception just because I didn't stumble upon it until later.
Right. Yep. I too, this was the first time I had seen it.
Why'd you put it forth? Why did you put this in as a vote?
You've mentioned it before, and I know Marshall has also mentioned it quite a lot. So I just having this knowledge, I was like, there's got to be a reason they brought it up repeatedly. So I was like, hey,
yeah, I mean it's good. It's a good stupid comedy.
Yeah, I think we'll get into what we rated at the end. I don't think I love it as much as you did, but you've seen it more years of your life than I have. And from the sounds of it, I think Marshall also likes it more just on its own as well. I don't think he grew up with it. And obviously there's a cult following. So what I'm trying to say is between you, the people I know, and just the general masses, I don't think I appreciate it as much as maybe the super fan would. But that doesn't mean I didn't appreciate elements of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you might be grouping me into the wrong category.
Okay.
Here. Like,
okay.
If I
Well, wait, no, because that tattoo on your back says Galaxy Quest, doesn't it?
yeah, well, it was supposed to say.
Listen,
anyways,
it's college.
Yeah, it was they were like, let's experiment. It's college. And I didn't know what they meant, and I was like, okay, well, but no, if I was thinking about this while I was watching it.
Sure.
There were parts of it I feel like there were parts of it that seemed unfamiliar, but then parts before that and after that did seem familiar. So I don't know if I've just never actually seen it through all the way until now, or I have, and if I have seen it through all the way prior to this would be the second time. And then bits and pieces once or twice before that. So it hasn't really been a big repeat viewing film for me at all. It's just, I know of it, but there's every actor in this movie, there are 2 or 3 films they're in that I would rather watch them in.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
But no, it's a good movie. But I wouldn't say I love it.
Sure.
And I definitely don't, wouldn't deserve the title of superfan.
No. Okay. And I better be careful. Maybe I'm mislabeling Marshall as well. I would say we've said some things that we like about it. The one thing I will say is just the CGI was cute, and I don't mean that as a compliment.
The rock monster doesn't really hold up.
A few things, like even a lot of the space sequences as well, just...
Well, but I struggle sometimes because I'm like, it's 1999.
I know.
It's 22 years ago. And so then I start thinking about, and there's films that came out last year that look like shit. So I'm like, so we're still not there.
And I know Star Wars has the benefit of the versions I've seen have been remastered, etc., etc. So it's not apples and oranges to say, hey, 1977, this holds up, but it does.
I mean, well, okay, but so direct Star Wars comparison, even then, so Phantom Menace, same year,
right?
Same year as this,
right?
Yes. But so then again, though, you're going
sure.
Even though Phantom Menace isn't a remaster, it still has the benefit of Industrial Light and Magic. It's still ILM.
Sure.
It's still Lucasfilm.
And I'm sure there's some budgetary discrepancy between the two films.
Sure. Yeah. No one was like, oh my God, I've waited 12 years for Galaxy Quest. It just wasn't, it didn't have the rumble that Phantom Menace inappropriately had.
Right.
Well, just because, I think everyone went into it going, this is going to be amazing. And they walked back out of the theater going, I felt like dysentery. It just wasn't the experience that the diehards wanted.
No. I thought it was interesting. I did some reading. Apparently this film did some pivoting as far as what their objective was from a audience perspective. I guess there were a lot of sequences, a lot of jokes that actually got cut out because they wanted it to be more towards a children's audience. And I guess it all, there's so much of the Hollywood business that I don't know that I find interesting reading tidbits, but literally, I guess, there was a competing net or studio that it was either Stuart Little or the Rugrats film, one of the two, that they said, okay, that studio's releasing this. We need to release this to counter that. And so instead of Galaxy Quest having some more adultish themes and jokes, they cut those out and just kept them in a child friendly. And there was one scene where Sigourney Weaver, and I thought I was just watching a bad dubbed TV edited version, but according to my reading, this was legitimately in theaters. You would have seen this, where they're in that ventilation shaft, and she totally drops an F-bomb. She goes, "What the F?" or like F that or something. And she has dubbed her own voiceover and says, screw that.
But the lips don't line up.
The lips don't line up. And apparently, like, I thought it was legitimately just a poor TV dub, but apparently that was the legitimate version. And she purposefully didn't do a good dub over because she was like, this is dumb. Like, you should keep the F-bomb in here.
Right. So somewhere out there's an NC-17 edit of Galaxy Quest. Like a hard R.
The Snyder cut.
Like F-bombs and blood and guts and
decapitations.
Disembowelment.
Yeah. Listen, I was going to talk a lot more on just how much I didn't like this film, or as far as like I didn't appreciate the story that it was, because I feel like the story in itself is interesting, like people who are has-beens and kind of how they develop from this. And I would agree with what you said. There's a limited amount of growth that we see on camera, but I won't go on that because I read something today as well that kind of changed my mind. I watched this a few days ago and my feelings have softened a little bit, so I'm feeling a bit better about the film overall. And I think it was Sigourney Weaver said something along the lines of, it has a Wizard of Oz feel to it. And obviously quite different, not nearly the depth, but just what she meant apparently was that you have this group of misfits. They are broken where they are, and they go on an adventure together, and they each kind of discover something about themselves and kind of complete what they were kind of missing to kind of then put aside their differences, put aside other things to kind of work for the collective.
Right.
And you know, I thought there was some merit to that. Again, I think this film has some shortcomings and some hollowness, but for what it is, you know, I'm not going to go on a tangent about its weak points story-wise. So I will say that's an interesting comparison. For what it is, it's interesting.
I would be embarrassed if I sat down with a group of people who had never seen it and I said, this movie's amazing, just wait. I'd be embarrassed.
Okay, yeah.
But
let me rephrase that, or at least can I interpret how you're saying it? Because this is how I would phrase it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be embarrassed, but just I would never. This, I think, our interests are aligned on this. This would never be the film that we'd say, kids, sit down, we got to watch this now.
Sure, like or you know, and if we did, then rightfully so, our children should never take our word ever again for what is an amazing film. Right. They would go, oh, okay, my tastes don't align with Dad's because I like quality. And so, but if, you know what, if you're looking for not a shallow film, but if you're looking for something that's not super deep, that doesn't require a lot from you, and is just kind of a feel-good adventure comedy, kind of like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in that it's funny, you get to go on a bit of an adventure, some stuff happens, you know, stuff happens like in all good movies, and but it doesn't require anything of you, really.
Right.
You know, you just pop some popcorn, throw it on,
have some laughs.
If you need to check your phone during it, like, that's fine.
If you have to pee, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to pee, I would still, you know, I don't like to leave the room. I would still pause it. But anyways,
sure.
Then I think this fits the bill pretty well.
Yep.
So, do you have anything else?
No, I think you've hit it. I will just end it on, I think how I would describe it is I felt like the movie was too long for what it was trying to tell, but that's not to say there's some great scenes, some great moments that as a YouTube clip, I would watch certain scenes or moments again that either made me laugh or I thought, ooh, this is really done well. And one of them, and I wrote this down and I need to share it, and I'm wondering, I'm assuming you enjoyed it as well, was at the beginning in the autograph section, Alan Rickman is sitting there giving us autographs, and it's still when he delivers those lines and they eat away at his soul, and he's just, you can just tell he's just filled with loathe, and he's like putting the Sharpie on the table and like doing his autograph, and then like flipping the autographed paper to the fan.
Right.
And he doesn't even move. Like it's just his eyes that are glaring. And yeah, I can honestly see why a couple years after this he went to the role of Voldemort. And it was just such a beautiful
Snape.
Alan Rickman scene.
He didn't play Voldemort. He played Snape. But
Oh, same difference. Why did I put Voldemort?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, he
I
played
don't know.
Snape.
He played Snape.
And it was
But
one of those
he's
moments
got
where
that kind of
I thought-
grimacing.
it was one of those scenes that I loved. I loved that intensity that he portrayed there. But it also made me sad just because it's a sad reminder that we no longer have Alan Rickman.
Yeah. Which is super, super unfortunate. I think it's so funny that he's like, you know, after that, he's like at home getting a beer out of his fridge, and he's still got the prosthetic cap on,
Right. Yeah.
you know. But
One thing this is what I'll end it on. According to my reading, the director was assigned to this film. His name is Parasad, I think it is. And quite soon after that, Tim Allen, was quickly cast as Nesmith. And apparently, he also had an offer to do Bicentennial Man, which is quite applicable to our earlier conversation. So he had to choose, that is Tim Allen, between Bicentennial Man and Galaxy Quest. And obviously, as we know, he chose this, and Robin Williams was chosen for Bicentennial Man.
when you watch Bicentennial Man,
Sure.
apply that knowledge. It would have been terrible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, it would not. No, there is a humanity, there is a warmth, there is a gentle touch, and just like deepness and heartfeltness about Bicentennial Man that could only come from Robin Williams.
And I'm in such a unique position. I know enough about Bicentennial Man to be intrigued, but I don't know enough to be in the loop, so I'm very intrigued.
Right. Like it's Bicentennial Man has a couple funny moments. It's not a comedy though.
No.
It is like it's like an Oscar bait kind of.
Wow.
It's so, oh my gosh, it's so good. But cool.
Cool.
Scale of 0 to 10, sir. What do you think?
So on my scale, I gave it on, and for the listener, it's been a while. I used 2 scales. Mine is kind of very weird, not always repeatable, not always accurate. And then I used a second scale called Marshall Scale, which is a little bit more grounded. My scale, I give it a 4.4 out of 10. To me, that means I would watch this movie if I was, streaming it on something, but I don't need to buy the gold platinum edition. I don't need to see it in a movie theater. On Marshall Scale, I gave it a 4 when I ranked it. I think I've warmed up enough. I think I could give it a 5. But as we've talked about, this movie was interesting. It had some moments that I really enjoyed. But as a whole, I just don't... I just didn't really appreciate it to that maybe the way some other people do.
Sure.
So, 4.4 or 5 out of 10.
Cool.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 6.5.
Okay,
So,
yep, yeah.
again, it's not going to change your life. You're not going to walk away from it going, wow. But, it's for what it's supposed to be. I think it does a really good job. There are certainly worse options.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So, yeah. Yeah. What'd you watch this week?
All right. So I watched 2 things. The first is I jumped aboard and I watched the movie Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt.
I heard it's a flop, man.
I don't think so. And not that I'm actually here to tell you, I'm not knocking on people's door asking if they have time to talk about Jungle Cruise. I think I just had a tempered expectation that I was like, listen, I'm just in the mood for something fun, a summery movie that has The Rock doing funny things and action scenes. And that's exactly what it was, So I got what I went in there for. It was what it was. I had some, if I had to say there were some critiques, it was way too CGI heavy. and maybe a little bit too fantastical. Like, action sequences for me, I realize are just going to be fantastical in films, or else they'd be boring. But like when river boats are like hopping out of the water with acceleration and like going through buildings and then like driving somewhere else, I'm like, okay, stuff like this is just a little bit silly for me. Like, let's just ground it a bit more to have it a bit more realistic. But for what it was fun. It had some critiques, but I'd say it's like a 5 out of 10. Didn't mind watching it. The other film I watched was far more intellectually chosen. I had an agenda watching it. I watched the 2000 film Erin Brockovich.
Oh.
And it was a good film. It has the famous Julia Roberts. It has Aaron Eckhart as a ponytailed motorcyclist.
Yeah.
And like every scene he was in, I was like, wait a minute. Who are you, man? Like, whoa.
It just doesn't quite fit the bill.
It doesn't quite compute. He did it well, but it was just didn't fit the bill. Have you seen this film?
I the first time they showed it to us in school.
Oh, sure.
I can't remember what the motivation was.
Probably water poisoning or some such.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, I watched it. It was a good film. I gave it a 7 out of 10. That's respectable.
Okay.
That's solid.
Yeah.
The reason I watched it, and I enjoyed every moment of it, I might even watch it again in the future. Again, I liked it as much or more than I should have. So I'm going on record. It was a good film. It was not, however, better than Castaway. This movie received an Oscar nomination for Best Film, while Castaway did not. And
that's bullshit.
And again, I don't know if it's the politics behind it, as far as the Hollywood scene of who and why get nominations and all that stuff. I'm not sure if it's even playing benefit of the doubt that maybe even at the time Castaway was not as well received, or went over a lot of people's heads, and it took some time for them to say, ooh, you know what, this is actually intellectually or artistically impressive. But regardless, loved Erin Brockovich, good movie, but nowhere near as deserving an Oscar nod, or at least nomination nod, as Castaway. So I'm a little upset about that.
Yeah, doesn't belong in the same conversation.
Yeah, and it's not even Erin Brockovich. There were 2 other films that I even just have no interest in watching that also got Oscar nods that I'm like, listen, I liked Erin Brockovich and I don't think it should have got a nod. Why are you 2 here?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that is what I watched this week. What did you watch?
I watched one film. Actually, I mean, it's been several weeks. So I watched, but I've only watched one movie in that time that isn't, a part of the movie going. Anyways,
yeah.
I rewatched Black Widow. I saw that.
Okay.
Again.
Yep.
Yeah. But next week I'm gonna have so many more things to tell you about. I got a movie heavy period coming up, but I have been still trucking through 24, and since we talked last, I've probably knocked out about another season and a half or 2 seasons of Friends.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
nice.
Trucking along. Spoiler alert, Ross and Rachel have broken up, and Ross maintains that they were on a break. And that's an interesting, talk your ear off about that.
Oh,
Sir,
no.
Wrap us up.
Well, thank you, listener, for spending your time with us, spending your evening, your afternoon, your morning, whenever you decided to watch or listen to us, I guess. I'm not sure why I said watch. Thank you for joining us.
Don't listen to us in the morning. What the hell's the matter with you? This is no, you just actually, maybe that's the perfect time. Because you should be spending your evening watching movies. Never mind. Erase what I said.
Yeah.
Listen to us in the morning. What the hell's the matter with you?
Please like, follow, subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out the links below. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you for all our top tier Patreon supporters like Daphne, like Brenna, like Marshall, like Andrew. Thank you for supporting us, for helping keep the lights on. And just thank you all for just joining us. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. And until next week.
Until next week, never give up. And beyond. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at Tim Allen catchphrases.
It's tool time.
There you go.